What's up, guys? I know it's been a minute, but yeah, as you can see, I've been busy. This is my second night out here this weekend. I think I got out here Friday night to see if I can make some progress. The clock's ticking. Shady Oaks, the track will be open in October, so I'm trying to get the race truck ready. Ran into a few things I didn't like. I talked about some of the things that I was going to be changing or replacing in the last video, and I'll go over those. But just to kind of give you an update and let you know why it's been so long since I've made a video. As you can see, my trash is overflowing. We had, I don't know, 30 or 40 people here this past yesterday afternoon for a cookout slash birthday party. My youngest daughter just turned 1, and so yeah, that was a big deal. And just planning for that and making it happen was it was a part-time job in and of itself. So I've been super busy. Not to mention, we were trying to find a car for my wife to replace the car she was driving, and that can be a daunting task as well. We finally found the car we wanted and bought it, so that's out of the way, and I can finally get back out here in this garage and hopefully get this sucker ready. I can't go far with this phone. I'm pretty much tethered to the charger because my dumbass didn't charge the phone knowing I was going to make this video. So yeah, a couple things. The Losi Red springs, I am not going to use them in the rear. The Losi Red springs for the rear in this platform, in my opinion, are not enough. I was going to buy the orange, orange, I believe they are, which is the next level up in terms of strength or weight. But I didn't want to spend any more money because, as you know, we do things on a budget round here. So I dug these out. These are brand new Kingmotor X2 red springs. I put the Losi red springs, which have been used an entire season, in my hand, and then put these in my hand. And these felt like they're stronger. They have more, they can hold more weight. It takes more to compress them. So I had my stepson do it. Didn't tell him what I was trying to accomplish, and he handed me this and said, yeah, this is the one that's stronger. So we're going to go with those. That'll save me a few bucks and hopefully get rid of some of that sag in the rear. One of the other things that, if you guys have this platform, you probably already know, the A-arms, they end up bending. They end up with a droop to them, like a real bad droop. They're sitting down there in that box. Let me see if I can grab one. Yeah, here we go. You see that? That's supposed to be perfectly straight, guys. So yeah, I mean, I'll set it on the bench just so you guys can see. And so that's definitely causing some of the droop or the sag in the rear also. And these are the factory Kingmotor ones, which have been, they've been on the truck for what, 2 years now? Plus however long it's sat in the box for from the factory. So yeah, we're going to get rid of those. We're going to replace the rears with the Losi ones that one of the other races at the track, Danny, another Dan, had given me. He was kind enough to just give them to me. Said he doesn't run the Losi platform or the 5T platform anymore. He's just a straight 5B buggy guy, and he wasn't going to use them. And decided to donate them to me instead of selling them, which was really, really cool. I got these in. Like I said, I promised to rebuild the truck. I am putting the ass end back together. I don't know if you can see it, but I started peeling the stickers off of it. This really sucks being tethered to this cord, but if I unplug it, it's gonna die. So yeah, I got some of the stickers off, and to be honest, I'm trying to cut corners here and save as much money as I can. I really don't want to spend another 80 bucks on another wrap, but it will look really cool, so I'm like fighting myself. Not to mention, they really don't, you know, they take a beating. Of course, I know I'm a better driver now, so I'm more confident in that the truck is not going to take as much of a beating, you know, but I don't know. So yeah, that's 80 bucks right there. This whole center diff scenario has just been, it's been a pain in the ass. From leaking to looseness, and you know, I've talked about it, I don't know, a dozen times now, just buying the modified RC diff. And there's a reason why anybody and everybody who has a rig with some money into it has that diff. It's just a superior design, bottom line. And this design is just, with that flanged bearing, it's not enough. The bearings themselves, and I shimmed mine, but I took it apart again, and the bearings are just junk. They're absolute junk, and they sell you a set for 19 bucks. You know, low C, a pair of bearings, flanged bearings. They're the same bearings that they use in the rear diff, rear diff and the front diff. You can buy those bearings, guys. If you don't buy the RC branded bearings, you can buy flanged bearings. I think they're like 15, 24, 5 as far as like millimeter, I forget. But needless to say, you can look up the size and you can buy them on AliExpress for like $3. And they're the same damn bearings. So, and you can obviously buy, you know, a better bearing, maybe a ceramic bearing, etc. So, and I don't know if Team Fast Eddie makes those bearings. Maybe he does. I'm going to look it up. But I definitely am going to replace the bearings for the center diff before I put the 100K in there. I already did the front diff with the 60K. I'm leaving the rear diff with the 30. And the whole front of the truck I just put back together. So I haven't got to the center diff yet, and the reason I haven't is because I don't have the bearings. I am going to use this tower because I had beaten the shit out of the alloy tower trying to shim it that first time. I grinded the piss out of the back of it trying to make room for the shim that was too big. So I just basically ruined that alloy tower. So I put everything back on the stock tower, which has never been ran. This came in a bag, you know, with the extra parts. So that's that. What else? Well, no, that's not that. Also, the center diff cup, the actual cup itself, not the drive cup, but the cup. I'm going to replace that because I also grinded some of that when I was trying to shim it that first time with a shim that was too big and didn't leave enough play for when the diff got hot and things started to swell up. I don't know if you guys remember, but the first time I shimmed it, when I took it to the track, it would run strong for 15 minutes or so. Once it heated up, my truck would start to bind up. And what was happening is that diff was swelling, and it was just a bad situation. So I had to take it out, shim it with something smaller, which, of course, I took my time at that point and found something that worked better. And didn't end up causing those issues. But in the end, still didn't really work. A few weeks ago before I took this apart, I noticed it was leaking again, and it still had a lot of play in it. But I also noticed that the pinion, this was a replaced pinion, a Roven pinion, as opposed to the Kingmotor one that was on it. I snapped a couple teeth off of it. It had a wobble in it. It was off center. And I imagine that does a number on the spur, so it's sending and transferring that wobble to the spur, which is of course going to do a number on the bearings. So I think that whole scenario was causing, was really beating the shit out of my diff. So I'm going to replace that cup, and I'm going to replace it with either an expensive FID cup, the one with the internal bearings, for like 65 bucks, which I've heard good things about, or I'm just going to buy the stock one that they sell that is cast. It's just a cast metal diff cup. Looks just like the stock one. It's $6.80. I'm going to fill it with the stock guts that I have there, and I'm going to put it on, put the drives back in it, put the gaskets back in it, seal it up after I drop some 100K in there, get it all back together, put the new bearings in, attach it to this tower, and hit the road and see how many races, see how many track days I get out of it. But I had to make sure that this was no longer off kilter. So I took everything apart. I was running the grabber bell, which I thought might be part of the reason why this 4-shoe Mad Max style, clutch was having an issue grabbing after it was, after I let off the throttle, it would stick sometimes. I felt maybe it was sticking in these grooves, but I have no idea. Needless to say, on this bell, that pinion had a wobble to it. So I took it out, did the best I could to figure out, was it the bearings? Was it the actual housing itself? Because the housing was pretty chewed up right here, and the bearing was kind of loose in there because of the spur hitting it, upon flex. These are the sealed bearings. You can see they're in pretty bad shape. One of them's got quite a wobble to it. These are the ones that came with the X2 in the alloy. Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. This is the alloy clutch housing. And this is the one that I had the wobble in. But they gave me, like these, they gave me the original X2 housing in a bag. So, and it already had bearings sunk and pressed into it. So I decided, all right, I'm going to use the stock bell, the bell that was originally, in the Kingmotor, not the grabber. We're gonna put this aside for now. Keep that clutch in there, and I put the roving pinion back on it, and it doesn't have a wobble. These bearings aren't great. The tighter I make this, the more I lose in terms of free spin, which is, in my opinion, not good. And I'm assuming it shouldn't be that way. But I've made it pretty tight enough to where I don't think it's going to back off. And of course, it's got Loctite on it. So in the end, I've eliminated the wobble that it had, that off-kilter wobble, which I'm assuming won't, of course now won't be transferring to the spur, causing issues with the diff. So yeah, if you guys are running into a lot of issues with your center diff, you might want to check that out. Just kind of an FYI. That's what I think was really beating the hell out of the bearings in my diff that last 3 or 4 track days. What else? Oh, so that hopefully this setup here is what we'll use for the rest of the season. That clutch has got plenty of life on it. I wish I could show it to you. It's got tons of life on it. And everything there is good to go. I'm just going to throw a new plug in it. I'd like to get an alloy cap, the tower top for these, just because I'm running plastic, and that alloy top, I imagine, does keep things a little stiffer. But even then, I'm trying not to spend any money here. I did buy the quick coupling or quick release coupling set. These are the GTB. Guys, these are pretty sick. They eliminate these rings and make it so you can get this drive shaft out in a matter of minutes. The front is reverse thread. There's 2 pieces there. It ends right where that section stops, and then this is the cap, and it holds, of course, 2 pins in there, one longer than the other. They don't tell you that. You kind of have to figure it out as far as which pin goes towards the back on this side and which pin goes through the actual dog bone. But yeah, so I'm hoping that will be the answer to the issues I was having up front. Of course, I have the rear. It was $22 for the set. I don't know why it's not focusing. There it is. And they're marked front and rear. And they came with 4 pins, black pins. So that one's in. I got to do the rear still. I'm going to change this out. I got a bag of these. Amazon, $5. Can't beat it, you know. This one I used for the latter half of the season after I finally figured out that whole nightmare with the gas cap. So yeah, I put one on the Ghost, of course. Check it out, Revo stunting on some real deal 1/8 truggy disc racing wheels and tires. Cheap Chinese crap right there. I'll be honest. I wish I spent a little bit more money. Those disc wheels are like, if you left them in the sun for 15 minutes, they probably melt. They're so thin. I mean, the quality in comparison to those Proline tires, and I imagine that's probably a Proline wheel. I don't know, who knows, but that wheel is definitely a hell of a lot better made than those. But that's what I wanted size-wise, and it looks pretty sick. I can't wait to run it. It's going to run a hell of a lot better, I imagine, and handle a lot better than it did with those ridiculous Duratrax things on there. And they're not ridiculous. I shouldn't say that. They are pretty sick. They're just not what I wanted. So they got a new home now. So yeah, I just got to get to work. I wanted to make this video because I miss you guys. And I've been watching everybody else's videos. People are staying busy. Bought a gel. He's out there drag racing. I'm jealous as hell. We got Only Fifth Scale. He's building a badass buggy. And now we got Elite RC building a badass buggy. I'm just, and I'm over here like, oh shit. And also Alex Gutierrez, if you guys haven't seen his videos yet, he's IE Fifth Scale. He's going to do an X2 or a low C5T platform rather with the new Rovin 45cc engine, which definitely got my attention. If you guys haven't seen the Dragon Hammer videos, search Dragon Hammer Rovin 45cc. That thing looks like it rips. Granted, the guy that, and his channel is worth subscribing to also. The guy's got his own machine shop. I mean, dude's serious about his shit, right? So I don't know if he did any work to it. I haven't done any reading as far as the description in the videos, but that thing looks like it rips, like night and day difference from the G320 that he had in it, I think is what it originally had in the Dragon Hammer in his first few videos, to that Rovin 45. It actually screws, and so yeah, we might have an engine for that, because SCZ, Trevor, the man behind the Ghost, contacted me and asked me if I needed anything, because he's seen an uptick in sales ever since I launched these videos, that series, and you guys helped me build that thing. And so he asked me if I needed anything, and I told him, yeah, dude, you know what? I could use an Area RC clutch bell that fits that, if you could have one of those made. I mean, granted, that's a bit much to ask, but or even, I don't know, an Area RC clutch that'll fit the G320. Or, do you have any SCZ engines laying around? He didn't say no. He said he'd ask the boss. I thought he was the boss. So that kind of left me confused, but I haven't heard from him. So yeah, it looks like that's not going to happen, but I didn't necessarily, I wasn't holding my breath anyway. But yeah, I think that I mean, for $280, guys, just check out that dude's videos. The most recent one, the music, I don't know, but dude, he's building some badass fifth scales, and I wish I knew the name of his video. But back to what I was saying, Alex Gutierrez, he's one of the guys that helped build the Ghost. He's doing a low C5T platform with a Rovin 45cc engine, which is technically a big bore engine. So he's going to see how that goes, and it's kind of going to be a budget build. He's already got a badass platform. I mean, his 5T is insane. He's got all the best of the best on it. So the engine isn't necessarily going to stand up to what he's, be on the same level with what he's already got built, but that's why he's doing it. He wants to, to test it and see what it does, see what he can do with it. If he's not happy with the performance initially, he's going to maybe have it ported and, just see where it can go from there for $300. So yeah, I'm rambling now. Let me get back to work. I'm going to get this sucker back together and make a decision on a few things. Like I said, the diff cup, I could go with the FID one. I had this old Bowflex that it was from like 1991 or some shit, sitting out on my sun porch, and somebody recently offered me $50. Well, I asked to buy it, and so I said, yeah, just give me $50 for it. So that threw some extra money in the RC pot, so I won't feel so bad spending some money on an FID diff if I do that. But yeah, I don't really have anything else going on. I haven't had the Ghost back out. I had that issue with the C hub, you know, with the hub. The bottom bolt came out initially, then the top bolt came out last time, and what I ended up finding is that the upper link, the upper, which would normally be an A-arm, but it's actually just a link, was actually too far out, and it was putting pressure on the hub, so it was causing a lot of pressure on the hub. So when I actually went to put the bolt back in the top, I realized how much pressure was on it, and that they had one side, the side that I was having the issue on, when I compared it to how far the other one was out, you know, this would adjust the toe on the wheel. That side was out too far, and that's the side I was having them. And I mean out by like maybe a few millimeters, but it was enough to put pressure on the bolt, and eventually it broke. When I put the top one in, I noticed it broke something in the bottom, so the bottom hub bolt is just stripped out. It's just spinning, but it's locked in place. It won't back out, at least easily. So it looks like it's going to need a new hub, but for now, it seems like it'll run that way and not have any issues. But we'll see. I want to get it back up. It's just a matter of time. It's too damn hot. It's August and miserably hot here. I cannot wait until the weather breaks and we start seeing, you know, 60 and 70 degree days at least. So stay tuned, guys. I'm going to get back to wrenching. My wife should be out of work soon, which will put things on pause until possibly next weekend. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep up the good videos. I enjoy what everybody's doing, and hope you enjoy what I'm doing. Later.